UEFA opened up that Schrodinger's box at the House of Football and gave us the draw for the knockout phase, and the knockout phase only, of the Champions League. Today at the House of Totally Football, we've got Jules and Jim. Julian Laurent.
Hello.
And James Horncastle.
Great film.
Great film.
Truffaut.
Both ready.
Also, the basis of Vanilla Sky, the Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Jules and Jim is the basis of Vanilla Sky.
Yes. Because it was a Spanish film, wasn't it?
No. Jules and Jim is a complete.
No. Jules and Jim is Truffaut.
Let him talk. Just let him talk.
And then a Spanish director made something called Abros los Ojos.
Yes.
Almodovar.
And then they made Vanilla Sky, which is based on Abros los Ojos. Yeah, there you go.
How do we get onto this?
You learn everything on this show.
Jules and Jim.
Everything.
Is that an 80s reference? James and Jules, as you'll know, if you listen to the Totally Football Show's European edition, where you can find them exclusively, more or less, are a big draw in themselves. So there you go. Very good. Hey, we've just had UEFA's going balls out, as it were, bringing together the knockout phase, as it's known, for the Champions League. Any initial thoughts? Actually, this, I don't know, is it, can I say this?
No, you can, yeah.
Yeah, okay, James hasn't seen the draw yet.
Yeah.
This will all be new to you.
Well, you know what, the charm of the last few minutes of the actual 18 game thing was all the players, well, some of the players, the Bruges players, looking at their phones, weren't they, to find out. I have not looked at my phone, and I was travelling in when the draw. So I am blissfully unaware of who was playing.
You know
who.
already the potential combos, right? So you know that City will be either Real Madrid or Bayern.
You know the parameters.
You just don't know exactly the draw, but you know.
Well, I tell you what, you do though, don't you, viewer stroke listener? So why don't we get into it? And the big headline, first of all, James, is that Man City have drawn Real Madrid. Real Madrid again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was probably one of the great Champions League moments of the last 10 years at the Bernabeu, and the last few minutes when they turned it around, when all of the ghosts of great Real Madrid teams came and haunted City. Benzema.
Literally nobody predicted that happening. Isn't that right, James?
Oh, yes.
James predicted. We'll get his predictions for this season's campaign maybe a little bit later on, but that was the big headline, Man City taking on Real Madrid. There were also 3 matches from the 8 pulled out of the pots, the urns, that we've already seen this season. So you got Monaco Benfica.
That's right. Great game.
Juve PSV.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's first game. Do you remember that?
Juve beat them 3-1.
3-1,
Yeah, no, I'm happy for Juve, but as a neutral, I would have preferred. Well, actually, it wouldn't matter what team Juventus were drawn with; it would be a dull game.
There you go. The other match that we've already seen this fixture. The other match we've already seen this season, which will be coming up in the knockout phase, is PSG Brest.
Oh, wow, Liga.
PSG.
Yeah.
We're going to see that this weekend as well.
I know, on Saturday. But this time will be in Brest, in their own stadium, not in Guingamp, where this playoff first leg or second leg, would be played. But and Brest, I felt for them a little bit because we knew it was either Brest or Monaco.
You felt for Brest.
I felt for Brest. I love Brest. But they said after the game, so they lost to Real Madrid on Wednesday night, and they knew it was either PSG or Benfica for them.
Yeah.
And they said, we play against PSG all the time, like, please, can we just get Benfica, just make this happen? Because for them, who, and we mentioned it many times, first time ever in Europe, first time ever in the Champions League, those players will never play again in the Champions League.
Right.
And they wanted to be more of that Champions League feeling, which this is going to be very much a Ligue 1 feeling for them.
Maybe they'll get a bit of that last 16 feeling, although I believe I'm right in saying they haven't beaten PSG, Brest, in 40 years.
That's right.
So you saying the format is flawed?
No, I'm just saying that they obviously scrubbed the rule that they had before, where you could not play against a team from your own country in the last 16.
But you don't like it for this reason, and I think it's a valid reason not to like it.
But Jules, on the other hand, you're guaranteed a French side.
Yeah, true.
In the
happy.
last 16.
But I would have
When's the last time that happened?
I would have rather even PSG Monaco just for the Brest players to play Benfica and have that kind of Champions League feeling much more than if they play PSG, which is exactly like what happened tomorrow in the league, and you feel a little bit more like, okay, this is Ligue 1 again.
Okay.
Also, it means Jules can't, he can't spread himself so thin, can he? Because he's,
You watch. So if you came for the PSG Brest content, you're free to go now, but we are going to go through the rest of the fixtures just in case there's any lingering interest there. These games will be played on the 11th and 12th February, the first legs, and the second legs a week later. So, Jules, you were saying it's nice that the draws happen, and we're not going to have to wait a long time for these mouth-watering matchups to actually take place.
Yeah, because in the old format, as you will remember, we used to have the draw in December and then had to wait until mid-February usually for the first leg of those last 16s. And every time we had the draw in December, we say, okay, these are the games, but we can talk about them now, but a lot of things can change between now and February, players getting injured or coming back from injury, new signings.
Yes. Well, that could still happen because you've got 3 days, and there's one matchup in particular which we'll come on to soon, which could be really affected by what happens over the.
But apart from that, form is not going to change much between now and those games. Whereas before, between December and Feb, a lot can change in terms of forms of teams.
Okay. So the draw that was made today was only for the knockout phase. The last 16 quarterfinal, semi-final. They'll all be decided in another draw, which will take place on the 21st of February. So if you're a fan of draws, you're in luck. Anyway, let's get into the matchups that are waiting in 2 weeks' time. So first of all, Real Madrid taking on Manchester City, the winners of which will be taking on, depending on the draw in a month's time, either Liverpool or Barcelona. Real Madrid and Manchester City.
No, that's not true, is it?
Isn't it?
No, because the PSG, it's the PSG Brest winner and the Monaco Benfica.
The winners of those ties will be facing. Curse you, cut and paste. Which is, to be fair, this is much better.
It's the magic of television.
They'll actually be facing
Atletico Leverkusen.
That is so true.
Yeah,
which
if
means
you need anything, just ask me, basically.
Okay, cool, Jules. So essentially, you've got a quartet of teams here. Real Madrid take on Manchester City, and the other two are Bayern Munich and Celtic.
Yeah,
and those two matches will throw up winners who will take on. One will face Bayer Leverkusen, so you could have a Bundesliga clash.
Yeah, Bayern and Atletico Madrid.
You could have also
Real
a Madrid derby.
Yeah. You're ruling out Celtic then?
I'm just saying.
You could also have Celtic Bayer Leverkusen. That could happen. All right, so Real Madrid and Manchester City have faced each other a lot of times recently.
Yep.
Last season, it was Real Madrid knocking City out in the quarters on pens.
Yeah, remember Bernardo Silva?
They went on to win. Previous season, Man City did. Real Madrid went on to win the treble.
Yeah.
This time round, Man City barely made it into the playoff phase, knockout phase. Real Madrid did okay, finished ninth. But who's going to be more worried, do you think, out of the two managers?
So second leg is in Madrid. We have to say that, which was not the case last season because the second leg was in Manchester, for example. The famous comeback that James mentioned was in Madrid too. So that might have an impact or not. I mean, right now Real Madrid are far from perfect, even if they are top of La Liga, because of that unbalance that they've showed at times, especially in the Clásicos. And I think if you're Guardiola right now, you think, okay, they have Vini and Rodrigo and Bellingham and Mbappe, but they are also a team that is not very balanced, especially when they don't have the ball. And if you're City, you've got, I think, a lot of tools to be able to exploit that. And if you're Real Madrid, you see City as a team that has been really underperforming and underachieving so far this season.
Also, in the past, there would be the gap between December and February where teams that are, let's say, out of form but qualifying in December have 6 to 8 weeks to basically sort themselves out and go into the transfer market. City have gone into the transfer market, but they only have, 10 days, 11 days to sort themselves out. And we've seen they haven't really been able to sort themselves out for 3 months. So I think it's almost like this comes too soon for City. And we've seen they're unstable. And like even when they beat Bruges, you could see like Guardiola in turmoil on the sidelines thinking, I have no control over this game.
Yeah.
Yes, we're winning, but it's not the football that he would like to see. And I think Madrid Wow, I think Madrid will take full advantage.
Really? This is a Madrid side that has been wobbly in this league phase. Defeated at Lille, beaten at home by Milan as well, but who are now maybe beginning to get to grips with how best to use Kylian Mbappe.
He's in the best form. I think he's back to his best, really, even in that central position, which he doesn't really like playing, but he's improved massively compared to what he did when he arrived at the club. And that's great. He's probably better when Vini is not there, as we've seen now, because Vini was suspended in the league and in the Champions League. But still, this is great. The issue I have with them is more defensively, really, and I think it goes for City as well. That's why this is going to be, I think, quite open with a lot of goals in both legs, because there's not much control either in this Real Madrid side. Really, they usually get overrun in midfield. We saw that again in the Clasico. We saw that in the Milan game, where they just could not cope with the runners and with the movement. And that was not even a great Milan team either, a great time either for them. So I think there's really some weaknesses to exploit for both teams there. And that will be with the ball attacking. So I could easily see like a 3-2, 3-2, those kind of scores.
Okay, James sounds like he's leaning towards Bayern as the stronger of the two. What do you think, Jules?
Real Madrid, I'm leaning towards.
Oh, sorry, Real Madrid. You're leaning towards Real Madrid as the stronger of the two, Jules?
That's good. I mean, I would like Mbappe to go through, obviously. And the second leg at the Bernabeu, and we know the Bernabeu factor too. We saw that even last season in that Bayern Munich game in the semi-final, for example, second leg. Yeah, I tend to agree. I will agree with Horny there.
Okay. Bayern Munich taking on Celtic. I wonder where your choices will land with these two. They've had 4 previous meetings in the group stage. Celtic yet to win. There's been 3 wins and a draw. Again, 1 or 2 shaky moments for Bayern. Lost to Barcelona in the league phase, and then the penultimate set of matches got done 3-0 by Bayern.
And they lost at Villa as well. They lost at Aston Villa as well.
So they did. So they did. These 2 games against Celtic will be on either side of a key game in the Bundesliga away to Bayer Leverkusen. So, yeah, some factors at play there.
You wonder as well if, like, Celtic have won the league. They are, I think, 15 points clear of Rangers and Aberdeen and all of that. Whereas for Bayern, even if they have a bit of a cushion now, 6 points clear at the top, you're right, there's that Bayer Leverkusen game that they can't really pass on. Whereas for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic, if he wants to play the kids for the league game before the first leg, he can. The league game in between the 2 legs, he can, which is not something that Company will be able to do. I still don't think that Celtic right now are good enough over 2 games to beat this Bayern team.
If Bayern do go through, if they draw Bayer Leverkusen, if Real do beat Man City, what a last 16 we're going to have with Bayern and a Madrid derby.
Amazing, yeah. And Bayern and Bayer played each other in the Pokal as well, I think. So they will have had the 2 league games, the Pokal game, and the German Super Cup game, and then the 2 Champions League games.
Anecdotally, it feels like we're talking or hypothesizing about a lot of country-on-country matchups. You know, France on France, Germany on Germany, Spain on Spain. Is this something we like? I think it was quite good when they were kept apart for longer in the old tournament, because as Jules said with Brest PSG, you want a European game, not an extra domestic game. And so, you know, these things might not come to pass because, you know, Celtic will knock out Bayern and that sort of thing.
And then draw Atletico.
But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I'm sure how I feel.
You're pro?
I'm against. I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong.
Okay, then I'll raise you a Madrid derby in the Champions League. Okay, it will be last 16, but it's still pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it'll be amazing.
Like we've had before Clásicos in semi-final, which was amazing and super exciting. So why not?
Okay. All right, George. Point and counterpoint. Let's see what you make of the next set of teams, the next quartet of teams who will be bidding for places in the last 16, where they will take on, and this time, I really mean it, Liverpool or Barcelona. Just cut and paste that to the other one. Paris Saint-Germain against Brest is one of them.
Yeah.
Who could be facing either Liverpool or Barcelona. We talked a little bit about them. Anything you want to add about PSG and Brest? Or can I add, Jules, for some years now, we've watched PSG and we've watched, above all, you watching PSG. And it's been bittersweet as a friend to see you suffering that way.
Thank you, my brother.
But the last couple of games, they've been sensational. I'm
barely.
feeling a little bit PSG adjacent myself.
Oh, I love that.
They're great. They're fun to watch. You like them.
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
going on?
Yeah, they run a lot. They have a lot of likable young players.
The assist on that from the corner.
Desiree Doué.
The Doué assist.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, no, you're right. And I think there's a lot of people very excited right now. This could all obviously stop in the last 16, which is not great because I still think that they have a way to go to be able to compete with Liverpool and Barcelona right now, simply in terms of experience. As good as Doué can be, he's played 8 games in the Champions League in his whole career. Barcola, not many more. Dembele or Hakimi, yes. Marquinhos a little bit more, but still Neves, Vitinha, Zaire Emery in midfield. This is still very young when you have to play than some of the big boys. But yeah, it's exciting. There's that momentum as well. We will have Kvaratskhelia available for those 2 games, which he wasn't obviously for the City game and then the Stuttgart game. So wherever he fits in this and whoever makes way for him will be interesting to see. But if Kvaratskhelia is in great form, he should add even more fun to this team that is already fun.
Okay. The other 2 teams bidding to take on either Liverpool or Barcelona in the last 16 are Benfica and Monaco. Benfica beat Monaco at the Stade Louis II.
Yeah, in a great game. Do you remember?
Just before Christmas. They were 2-1 down.
Yeah. And
Tell us more.
Yeah, no, and then Singo maybe got sent off.
Yeah.
Singo got sent off, and that changed the game. And to be fair, Monaco hold on for a long time and conceded 2 late goals to make it 3-2, which harmed them because there was a point where Monaco could, I think, with a win there, finish in the top 8. Or then have that momentum to go and finish in the top 8. So it's not the case. But they're 2 teams that similar level, and Benfica have had some really good games in there when they beat Atletico Madrid 4-0, for example.
Benfica feel a little bit... Monaco pumped in the last round of games by Inter, while Benfica did Juve in fine fashion in Turin.
As they always do. They have a 100% record against Juventus in Turin. They are really the bogey side of the old lady. One thing to say about Portuguese teams is we've seen better Portuguese teams than the ones that are in the competitions at the moment. I include Sporting in that, in the Champions League, and Porto in the Europa League. All 3 of those teams have changed their coach. You know, Schmidt got the sack.
Yeah.
At Porto, the guy Villas-Boas brought in, got the sack. Sporting, Amorim left. And they're all sort of like vying for the title in Portugal, but they're all kind of unhappy and aware that they are not where they should be or feel they should be. So I think it's actually quite a down year for Portuguese football domestically. Now, in terms of this Benfica game, obviously they played that calamitous classic against Barcelona. And they'll be facing a Monaco team which will be strengthened by not signing Jordan Henderson.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Is that not happening?
I don't think so, thank God.
For Jordan?
Like yesterday, for everybody involved, including myself, I had to make a few phone calls yesterday when that time, and I was like, please, don't tell me. And even people at the club were trying to convince me that it could be a good idea. But, we need experience. They have a very young team, which is true, and they need a bit of experience. I was still not having it. I said to them, like, listen, do what you want, try it. He wanted to go, and I think Ajax are going to not allow him to go. So not now, not in January.
They're selling Chuba Akpom to Lille.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that would happen.
Of course, we'll be talking a little bit more about later on because they're in the Europa League draw.
Yes.
Which has also been made today, James.
Has it?
Okay.
Europa League.
Okay. But Benfica, who have in Pavlidis, for all the talk about Gyökeres as this amazing, of course, striker in Portugal, Pavlidis has done really, really well since moving over there from the Eredivisie, and he was
in the Champions League.
Yeah, in the Champions League, he was very influential again in that win away at Juventus.
Internationally for Greece.
Yeah, not so much in the league.
Not so much in the league. Yeah, no, fair. Do you see either of those teams, Monaco or Benfica, troubling Liverpool or Barcelona potentially in the last 16? Of course, it would be funny if it was Benfica.
I'd watch a rerun of Benfica Barca. Although I think our expectations would be set so high by what we saw a week ago that it could never live up to that.
That's true. Yeah,
maybe.
It won't be the
same. Or maybe it would be like Liverpool Newcastle back in the 90s.
Yeah, has it ever lived up to that?
Well, yeah.
Liverpool,
you remember
Newcastle?
the next season they had another 4-3.
Okay,
two back to back. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go. Oh, we're halfway through these knockout phase ties. Next up for you, James, I bet you're wanting to know which teams are going to be taking on Arsenal and Inter in the last 16.
Ooh, okay.
So, the two knockout phase games which will produce the opponents for Arsenal and Inter are PSV Eindhoven against Juventus, as we mentioned before.
Okay.
And Milan against Feyenoord.
Oh, that's quite interesting because Milan want Santi Jimenez.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
They are literally about to take their big goal-scoring threat and potentially field him against his former club in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I think Feyenoord are not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, maybe not anymore. Can you imagine if that transfer doesn't happen because of the draw? Wow.
Yeah, also because one of the quirks that clubs are talking about behind the scenes is that you're only allowed to make 3 changes to your squad from the league phase to the
I think that
range.
may be in place, yes.
Yeah, and Feyenoord have already made their 3 changes.
Ooh.
And so if they were to sell Santi Jimenez, they wouldn't be able to, let's say they then have to go and sign a replacement. That replacement could not come into the squad.
I wonder.
And so that is another incentive for them not to sell Santi Jimenez.
If they're a Spanish side, they could get a dispensation.
Sure, they could go to every court.
Yeah. But wow, that's interesting. Milan, who were convinced, this morning's Gazzetta was all about the fact that they've now got that deal all sorted. João Felix is going to be next, according to the Gazzetta.
But then the House of Football.
Think again.
Yeah.
Think again. Anyway, all right, so Milan, Feyenoord, PSV against Juventus. Who do you think's got a better chance of getting through of the Italian sides there?
Actually, that's a really good question because you can't trust any of them apart from Inter. Milan, losing to Dinamo Zagreb and therefore not finishing in the top 8. I mean, that was just
bad.
a debacle. And I penny for Zvone Boban's thoughts because Boban played for both. He was an executive of Milan. He got sacked. They went to court, and so I imagine him not smiling at not having some Schadenfreude at Milan losing in the Maximir, but still. So you can't really trust Milan, is what I'm trying to say. I would still think that they are the better placed of the Italian teams to progress to face whoever it is that might face Inter next. Juventus, oh my word! I mean, just
where do you start?
Well, they lost to Napoli at the weekend. They lost to Benfica Wednesday night at home.
Yeah.
A lot of whistles. Pressure seems to be building on Thiago Motta.
A lot of whistles. And then he went and did his post-match interview on Sky Italia, and he was asked the question, and he responded in Spanish. And they were like, Thiago, this is the Italian broadcasters, And he was like, sorry, I've just come from a Spanish interview, which, I mean...
Yeah, but surely the question was asked to him in Italian. Sometimes, I speak,
But it just only hardened this sense that this is someone who is in a state of confusion at the moment.
Right.
But surely they're still good enough to beat PSV.
Luke de Jong.
They
Luke
did
de Jong.
last time they met. Is
De
that an
Jong.
advantage, having met them back in the league phase?
Yeah, remember that Yildiz won the goal? They scored to open the scoring in that game.
No, it was a great performance. It was the
Yeah.
most, probably the single most attacking performance we've seen from Juve.
Yeah,
And the one against Leipzig.
The comeback against Leipzig.
Was
when they win
magnificent with 10
3-2,
men. But in terms of just going for it, that's not a Juventus that we've seen elsewhere so much in this season. Is it an advantage, having played them and beaten them already, or PSV will pit a Bosch, take stock?
Well, I suppose Juventus will be one of the teams that add new players into their Champions League squad because they've been very active in the transfer market.
Colomboigny,
Colomboigny, Kevin Danso,
Vega.
If he comes. So will that change things? I mean, you're again asking a lot for these players to settle in and adapt and be comfortable playing for their new team when these games are only, 10, 11 days away. And then I do fear De Jong. I don't want to be Nostra Horncastle here, but we've seen in the Europa League final when Sevilla played Inter and Inter took the lead and then Luke De Jong happened for Sevilla. And I just can see Luke De Jong happening again.
Surely not.
Yeah, I can. I know you think he's the bad De Jong, but
he's
one goal away from breaking Romario's record for PSV in the Champions League.
I fear more some of the wingers that they have, like Bakayoko scored a lovely goal on Wednesday night against Liverpool, where he sat down Robertson and Kwanzaa at the same time with a dummy, which was, I mean, when you sit down players, I think he must feel pretty cool. But when you sit two down and then score a lovely goal, so I think he could be a difference maker too. But surely Juventus should have enough.
No, surely right now about the old lady.
Very true.
Milan final, the other one, if Milan get through, Arsenal or Inter? Arsenal or Inter?
Okay, Arsenal or Inter. So that was a game at San Siro, no? Arsenal Inter.
No, I'm saying Milan will be facing
Yeah.
Arsenal or Inter, who of course, speaking of games that we've already seen this season, they've got Milan and Inter are going to be facing each other this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to that game.
Nice.
I mean, it was really special the season before last that there was a Champions League semi-final that was Inter against Milan.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels like we're at the beginning of the 2000s again when these
Costa, Materazzi.
Yeah. But that felt like a once-in-a-generation event 2 years ago.
Right.
And if it happens again this time around, it perhaps won't have the same impact on me, at least. It might on you, listener, but maybe not on me.
Right.
A fatigued, jaded journalist. But
Too many derbies. See? You're spoiled.
Is there? Are there?
Well, the good thing when there's a derby like that in Champions League is I get to go usually, so I can meet up with Horny, and then he takes me to those great restaurants, and I have to do nothing. He said, order this, and then he orders everything in Italian, and I'm like, yeah, this is brilliant.
We've still got 2 matches to go, but just let me ask, of all the restaurants that James has taken you to on your European football jaunts, which is your favourite?
That semi-final second leg, we were there together in Milan, and that was pretty cool.
What was that?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
We've been to the same place. It's Caimano.
Caimano, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And the inside is just exactly like you would expect. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Referees. Anyway.
Referees.
Oh, David Coote.
Okay.
David
Thiago
Coote.
Motta. No, sorry. The waiters.
Yes.
The waiter's a bit surly. No, actually, they might have been over familiar. One of the two. I can't remember, but the pizza exceptional. If you're in the area, where is it? The Brera area?
In Brera, yeah.
Brera, yeah.
Lots of Milan memorabilia in there.
Yeah, lovely
That's
inside
good,
as well.
Nice. Hey, the final quartet of teams in the knockout phase, and they maybe have the easier side of the draw because the teams that come out of these 2 matches will be facing either Aston Villa or Lille. No disrespect intended.
No, but yeah.
So, Atalanta in here, James. Just missing out on having automatic qualification.
Yeah.
It's worked out for them,
Couldn't
though.
quite get the draw for Barcelona.
It's worked out.
Yeah.
Who have they got?
I don't know.
I think so.
Spigoloso, the appointment, I would suggest. Who have they got? Club Bruges.
How can you tell me that this
Paqueta,
is not
that's
good?
right. Yeah.
No.
No?
Yeah, no, I'm
They're
happy
going
with
to
this.
smash them,
Yeah, you happy with that?
And then imagine you play Lille, when you could have played Arsenal or Inter or Liverpool or Barcelona, it's...
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be, given the alternatives, to have Bruges and then Lille would be all right.
It's going to be... This is
their year, you've been saying it.
Porto 2003, 2004. Porto win the UEFA Cup and then win the Champions League.
Ooh.
This
Yeah?
could be it. If the draw is opening up like this.
You also said in the league they would be like Sampdoria 92, and then look at what they are now. So you jinxed them,
because they're now like this in the
they're
Champions
not
League.
Porto,
They're like,
Mourinho. Fair enough.
It's interesting, Roy Smith
Uh-huh.
was very strong on Atalanta's dark horse credentials on last Thursday's. Actually, that was yesterday, wasn't it? On yesterday's Totally Football show.
Good.
Yeah. Alrighty. Bruges, though. I mean, they did hold Juve to that draw.
Yeah, they were drawing with Milan.
They played well against
They were in the lead
Milan.
against Man City.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They're not a bad team, but it's still...
Yeah. The Villa or Lille will be facing the winner of that. And Villa or Lille will be facing the winner of the final knockout phase match, which will be Borussia Dortmund against Sporting. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
That's a real kind of get out of jail one for Dortmund.
Yeah. You have to think about that, James. Because I'm tremendously impressed. You've done all your analysis off the top of your dome here. Jules, what's your take on Dortmund?
If you are Niko Kovac, who's just been appointed as the new Borussia Dortmund manager, then I think you're happy.
Okay.
Because I think the Sporting team, even with Gyökeres in it, has lost the Amorim factor, which made a lot of what this team was good.
And the factor of whatever the guy who replaced him was.
Yeah,
they're now on their third manager.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
3 wins out of 6.
But I don't think they won in the Champions League since Amorim left.
No.
It's a bit more difficult. They lost to... I can't remember what they did on Wednesday night. Did they lose to Sturm Graz away, maybe?
They came back.
Leipzig lost to Sturm Graz. They drew 1-1 with...
Hold on. They went behind and then they
8.
came back, I think. Yeah.
Looking at Sport.
Harder scored. Who looks like
Gyökeres. Yeah, he's the replacement. Yeah, they drew 1-1.
They drew 1-1 at Bologna. Sorry,
Bologna,
you already got there. Ages ago.
No, I didn't get there, actually.
I
got the goal scorer.
Konrad Harder scored.
Bologna.
Yeah.
So I think for both teams really you would be happy with the draw. Anything can happen, although you probably would put Dortmund slightly favourites simply because I think they've got better players overall.
They were the Champions League runners-up last year.
Somehow.
But they've lost Hummels, Terzic, Füllkrug. You know, it's a different Dortmund. It's flaky Dortmund.
He's good.
And, Seb, whenever he's sort of phoning in or beaming in from Hamburg, always says, it's not just a coaching problem, is it?
Yeah, it's true.
Root and branch, it's deeper
than that. Yeah. But Kovac would make them more disciplined. And defensively, they've been shambolic this season and the past few seasons. And I think he should make them a bit better, I guess.
Okay. Potentially taking on Aston Villa or Lille in the round of 16, which will be kicking off on the 4th of March.
Yeah.
Prior to that,
super happy.
21st of February, they'll draw who's going to get what. Of course, the 8 teams awaiting that draw who've already qualified for the last 16 are Arsenal, Villa, Liverpool, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille, and Inter. James, you're thinking that if there's an Italian prospect for the final, it's Atalanta?
Atalanta or Inter. But the way you describe the draw to me, I think it feels like it kind of opens up quite nicely for Atalanta.
Yeah.
If they play Bruges and then Villa or Lille.
Yeah.
I think Atalanta Villa would be great. Gasperini against Emery would be a real sort of tussle between Europa League winner and Europa League serial winner.
Nice.
So that would be cool.
It would be Liverpool or Barcelona in the quarterfinals for Atalanta if they progress.
Barcelona almost beat Barcelona on Wednesday.
They almost did, yeah. That Ederson goal was amazing. One of the goals of the night.
Wasn't that nice? Jules, who's your tip? And is it?
I would have loved another round. So I would have loved PSG to only face a top club like Liverpool or Barcelona in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Last 16 feels a little bit early in the sense that they would not be favourite, and it's still a team that is young, as we said, that is growing.
Right.
That is not ready probably now to compete with those kind of teams.
So who do you think?
So that's the problem. Okay, outside of Atalanta, I don't see anybody outside of the big teams to be able to go and win.
And
this.
which of the big teams do you think is best placed right
Liverpool.
now?
Liverpool for sure.
Liverpool?
I think Barcelona, despite the crazy high line defensively at times and a bit of that kind of kamikaze approach that Hansi Flick can have, I think on their day they can beat anybody. When you've got a front three, if they stay in this kind of form of Rafinha, Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal, I think they can score many goals against anybody. Yeah, but you can make a case for Arsenal to be a great Champions League Cup team in that sense. And Saka comes back in March. Inter, Horny has always been keen on, and rightly so. And when I watched them again against Monaco, albeit with 11 against 10 for 80 odd minutes, they were outstanding, I thought.
1 goal conceded in the league phase.
Leverkusen,
for the second season in a row, or third in fact. They're just so
efficient.
Saracen-esque.
Yeah, and also Inzaghi, he treated the league phase like he treated the group stage last year, which is like, I'm going to really rotate my players. I trust my players so much. I feel like I can really rotate. And obviously that will change in the knockout stages. So, yeah, Arsenal, I think Arsenal's record is also, from a defensive point of view, something that should encourage people to believe that this could be their year in, we've seen them in the Premier League title race go very, very close the last couple of years. We haven't really seen them do something similar in Europe. Maybe this is the time, just because. Did they concede at all from open play?
I think Danjuma's goal on Wednesday
was
the
only time. So they conceded 3 goals.
And that was Neto's fault.
Yeah. And he would not have played if Raya had been fit anyway.
Yeah. Right.
It's not a rotation. It was no rotation. I mean, you can't rule out, obviously, Real Madrid with the players they have, and Carlo have to be right there. I think Atletico Madrid could be a pain to play against again. Because he's got them going now. That should be really, really fun.
What's Arsenal's perspective path?
So it will be the Leverkusen Atletico Madrid side of the bracket.
Ooh, okay.
And then in the semis, one of Liverpool or Barcelona should be theirs, really.
Tough, actually.
Yeah. It could be.
I mean, they're all tough games at this level.
Yeah, they are.
If you want to win the cup, you have to beat the big teams. I always say.
Yeah, which I know one of the things that's been spoken about this new format is seeding and all this sort of thing, but it doesn't seem to really help many people. Like just in the same way that last year Real Sociedad topped their group, and what was their reward? They played PSG in the round of 16. Liverpool and Barcelona finished first and second, and they're prospectively going to play PSG, which is not.
Yeah, that's true.
So
for Arsenal, if you have to play Real Madrid or City or Bayern in the quarters, is difficult already. But I think they would have learned a lot from the defeat against Bayern last season, actually, for Arsenal, and how you manage those games. It's still a young team, and Arteta certainly as a manager, as a number one coach, is still young. This is only his second Champions League season, really. So campaign. So it should be fun.
Okay, very good. That's the Champions League knockout phase draw, but they also, UEFA, since they were there, did one for the Europa League as well.
Can we go straight in on?
I didn't know. I don't know this one.
Who our boys have got? Who are they?
Yeah, I don't know this one.
Roma are taking on Porto.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow!
Oh, great.
Former Jose. Why are you so happy about that?
That's a big game.
Because I like AVB, and AVB is sort of president of Porto. Yeah, great.
That's great, Ty.
Okay, they've just appointed a new manager, Porto. Martin Anselmi. It's his first job in Europe.
Yeah. Did really well.
Previously managed by Jose Mourinho with some success. Roma also managed by Jose Mourinho with some success. On a cup.
Yeah, I remember also Porto knocking out Roma brought the end of Di Francesco. Just 7 months after the Remontada getting into the Champions League semi-final. Right. Monchi then resigned, which was a blessing. And then, because he'd signed a player from Porto, Ivan Marcano, a centre-back who could not mark. But yeah, anyway.
All right.
Maybe I'll do that.
Porto on Thursday night won 1-0 away to
Maccabi Tel Aviv.
While Roma looked really, really impressive against Eintracht Frankfurt, who admittedly were pretty much already qualified. And
Marmouche is gone.
But Roma looking good.
Yeah, and the thing to say about Roma is they are 33 games, they've won 33 games at home in European competitions since 17-18. So since that Di Francesco got them into the Champions League semi-final with the Remontada against Barcelona. And in that time frame, the only other club who've had more home wins, I think, in European competition is Man City.
Oh, really?
Than Roma.
Not Bayern or anyone like that?
No, and if you think about it, because Roma got to that Champions League semi-final 17-18, they then got knocked out under Di Francesco, and then Fonseca took them to a Europa League semi-final where Man United knocked them out.
Yeah.
Then Mourinho Conference League final, which they won, and then Mourinho Europa League final, which they lost on penalties to Sevilla, and then last year De Rossi Europa League semi-final. So Roma's European pedigree has really kind of come to the fore it never existed before.
Remarkable.
The last 5 years. So yeah,
All right. Well, Roma Porto, one of the 8 knockout phase matchups.
The best one, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The others are, Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce are up against Jan Vertonghen's Anderlecht.
Oh, they were good last night.
And they almost came back.
Game of the night against
Hoffenheim.
Hoffenheim.
Yeah, very good.
Right.
Was it 7-goal thriller?
Yeah, 4-3 they lost,
Yeah,
but they were 4-1 down and then came back. They've got some really good young players, plus the old guard of Den Donker, who's the captain, Vertonghen, who was not playing yesterday. Yeah, it could be fun.
Okay. Robbie Keane's Ferencváros will be taking on somebody's Victoria Pilsen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who were they playing last night? Because they blew them away. They
Victoria Pilsen?
No, Ferencváros.
Ferencváros, yeah, they won.
They won 4-3, but they were 3-0 up at half time. Feels like it was almost another Czech team. Like a Slavia
Sparta,
Prague.
like Sparta Prague or something like that.
I can't find it here. Can it be?
But yeah, I mean.
Anyway, moving on.
But yeah, they looked good. Ferencváros. No, it's RZ. It was RZ.
Oh, they beat us, is it?
Yeah, as a
they got
Alkmaar, 4-3.
Yeah.
A 7-goal thriller.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Another one.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun.
Another
Victoria
one.
Pilsen, on the other hand, you go and look it up. We're going to move on. Galatasaray.
Yeah.
Ooh, runaway Turkish leaders are up against AZ Alkmaar, the self-same
okay.
AZ. Yeah. Midtjylland, who are always fun, are up against the similarly entertaining Real Sociedad.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a tournament competition, the final will be played in Bilbao. So from a Real Sociedad point of view, if you obviously make it all the way, it's on your doorstep. Not in your, obviously at the rivals, but still on your doorstep.
But this was a little bit like, was it last year where Olympiacos won the Conference League?
Yes.
But in Athens' ground.
Exactly.
This would be sort of similar if Real Sociedad win it.
Yeah,
San
can
Mamés.
you imagine? That's the best.
Or if Bayer Leverkusen would win the Champions League, which was held in
Munich. Exactly.
Not quite the same.
No.
But still a little bit. It would be like Munich 1860, but they're not obviously in this.
They're not in it, are they?
Not yet.
No, they're not in it. Okay. Other games, Midtjylland against, we've done that one. Ajax with Jordan Henderson, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. They will be hosting Union Saint-Gilloise.
Okay.
Saint-Gilloise, yeah.
Saint-Gilloise.
Yeah.
Union Saint-Gilloise.
Gilloise, the E at the end, so you have to say the E.
Okay.
With Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister.
Very good. PAOK.
Who scored last night, by the way, Kevin.
Did he?
Yeah, Kevin.
I made several Home Alone jokes on the...
Did you? But because now we know for sure, this is official now, because Alexis has officially said it, that Kevin was called after Home Alone.
Right.
Yeah, which we were never sure. It can't be real. But no, Mum and Dad McAllister
so real.
called Kevin for the movie, after the movie.
Okay. PAOK, I'm still going, will be facing Steaua Bucharest. And the final one is Twente up against Bodo or Glimt, depending on who comes through there. Oh, no, that's actually...
Same one, yeah. I don't know where your Italians are or where even Spurs and Manchester United are in terms of bracket, but Lyon,
let me see,
who are already through because of the definition top 8, will play Union Saint-Gilloise, Ajax, PAOK or Bucharest.
Oh, so we win against Elfsberg, 3-0, I think it was.
Yeah, with 3 kids.
They will be facing either the winners of Midtjylland Real Sociedad.
Oh, that could be good.
Or the AZ Alkmaar Galatasaray.
Oh,
winners.
yeah, Galatasaray beat Spurs this season.
What's Roma's path?
Well, Roma, if they get through against Porto, will be facing either Athletic Club de Bilbao or a team called Lazio. Have they ever faced Lazio before?
We could have a Roma Lazio in the last 16.
That's right.
Wow.
Okay.
Too many derbies, Jules?
No, that's
Not
what I mean.
enough.
Like, super
Not
exciting.
enough. Any other ones you want to check on? Lyon.
So Lyon is Union Saint-Gilloise.
Man United will face either AZ Alkmaar Galatasaray winners or Midtjylland Real Sociedad winners.
Yeah, so it's the other one.
Does the Conference League still exist?
Yeah, but they finished before because they had...
Who won?
No, their league phase was finished before. Yeah.
Okay.
Woo. Didn't do a draw for that. No. Maybe they forgot. Imagine.
Oh my God! The Chelsea guys went to the House of Football and there was just no...
Where is everyone? The man.
The light was off. It's too late.
There's Kevin McAllister, like...
anyway, there we go. Well, it's been fabulous to look back and indeed experience it for the first time. Those draws for you, James.
Yeah.
Really, really entertaining, and not long to wait until those games actually happen. Not long to wait as well until we hear from Jules and James again, because we'll be doing the Totally Football Show European edition early next week, possibly on the Monday. You're flying to...
Yeah, I'm in Milan.
On Monday.
Actually, yeah, no, I am there because it's deadline day on Monday. So yeah, I'm in Milan.
Okay, cool. So we'll probably do it maybe. We're not sure when we'll do it. Be up early Tuesday with you. Many, many thanks for being with us, either on a podcast or live on our YouTube channel. Jules and James, Liam, producer Lucy, and you, have a great time over the weekend. We're back with our regular Totally Football Show on Sunday night. For now, from all of us here, it's goodbye.